Welcome to the Homesteading for Beginners podcast. This is Mona Weathers, your host. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the future plans I have for 2024 and some of the things that I'm going to be doing for the month of December. And I hope this will be helpful to you. It'll be a lot about me. This will be kind of an about me podcast episode. But I'm hoping that you'll be able to reflect on what it is that I'm saying about changes that are happening in my life that maybe you can implement or even just think about or even just get excited about what the future holds for this podcast and other things that I'm doing. So I don't have this kind of in a container really, where I don't have like 5 steps too, but it's just kind of like a conversation. So sit back or drive safely and listen to this conversation I'm having with you. I'm actually drinking a cup of coffee, so maybe you're drinking a cup of coffee too, and we can just chat, okay? I know you won't be able to say anything back. You're welcome to speak to your podcast player, but I won't hear it. But if you do want me to hear it, please, go ahead and message me on Instagram, or you can email me at healthyhomesteading@gmail.com. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about knowing what season you're in and adjusting your goals to fit that stage of life. The reason I'm talking about this is because I've had a lot of changes this year. And I've had a lot of changes in my life, and I've had a lot of things. It's the kind of changes, it's the kind of growth that if you don't sit back and pay attention to, you'll miss things. So what I've realized is that you want to try to, me and you, want to try to design our life. Design a life of peace. We're getting into homesteading for a lot of different reasons. Your reasons may be way different than my reasons for getting into homesteading. But my reasons were for, the health of my family. And then throughout the whole journey, I discovered that there were so many other benefits. There were benefits that people weren't talking about at the time. There are benefits that people still don't talk about much at the time. Right now. The benefits that you can't see, the hardships that bring you like closer to knowing who you are, closer to your creator. Those types of things, more and more people are talking about it, and I love it. But that's what homesteading to me is more about, this whole mindset of it and how we want to, get closer to the things that bring us joy and be able to have skills that help us walk through life better. So over the years, I've discovered the best way for me to find clarity is to slow down and observe my surroundings. I wasn't like this always. I used to be actually the opposite. And in the past, I would try to work harder, faster, longer to try to reach the goals I had for myself, because I thought the goal itself would be the clarity that I needed, reaching the goal. But constantly striving to reach the goal post wasn't working. Although I will tell you, definitely fix your eye on your goals. But what ended up happening for me was my goal post would move. So I'd reach a goal or get close to it, and then it would move. And then I felt like I was constantly striving for that goal and never finding the answers to my problems. Now, currently what I'm doing and what I have been doing for a while is, instead of speeding up, I slow down and I remove as many distractions as I can. And it's not easy, mind you. I'm a very driven person. I like to do things. I like to feel like I'm constantly, being productive, reaching for my goals. But I've learned that if I just work harder, faster, longer, It's doing the opposite of what I'm trying to achieve. If homesteading has taught me anything, it has taught me to be slower, to slow down and be more thoughtful, and that is better than racing to the finish line. And I still keep my eyes on my goals, like I said before, and I still think focus on your goals is super important. But now it includes my emotional and physical and financial and spiritual health at the same time. The goals include those things instead of putting aside those things so that I reach my goals, and which I think a lot of people do. So I've learned to be more mindful of the things that are happening around me and how it affects my time and energy. And in this episode, I'm sharing some of those things that are happening in my life right now, and the things that I've gone through over the past that have shaped how I'm going to move forward with my homesteading goals in 2024. And maybe this will help you. And at the very least, like I said before, you can find out what kind of plans I have coming up and how you can get involved. So let's start with emotional health. I talk a lot about this on the podcast, being mindful of these things, because we don't want to create a life that we don't feel like we're healthy in, right? So what I've done recently is I've had to really reflect on my energy levels and my emotional state. December, the holiday season, is kind of a difficult season for me. It's also a wonderful season for me. It's both. There are a lot of birthdays from October to January's birthdays in our family. So there's a lot of wonderful things happening. But also, December 26th of 2003, my father also passed away, which I also always have to remind myself that this is a difficult season for me. It kind of creeps up on me a lot of times, and I'm in this place where I'm like, why am I so emotional? And that's why. So I'm trying to be more mindful of this season of my life. I love the holidays, and they're also very painful. A lot of life changes happened for me this year, and if I just push through these emotions that I'm going through, I'm not taking into consideration the growth opportunities I can get from it. So I'm choosing to slow down for that reason as well. I'm choosing to recognize these life changes, recognize my past and the emotional, season that I'm in. This year, some of the changes that happened were our household went from 3 of us, my husband and myself and my daughter, to 8 of us early this year when my oldest daughter's family came to live with us. And the household increased again by 1 more in August when my youngest granddaughter was born on the farm. So now we have 9 people in this household at Thankful Hill Farm. And it's been a wonderful season. I love getting to know my grandkids and watching my daughter as a mother. That has been a great part of this year, but it also changes. There's changes that have to happen in order for that to work and function, and in a way that's healthy for everyone, right? Another end of era for me was my homeschooling as a homeschool mom. That ended this year when my youngest daughter graduated. That was 25 years of my life that I dedicated to educating my children, and it ended. And it felt strange and a little disorienting and a little like I needed some sort of medal or something for making it 25 years, because every year I said, I'll do 1 more year. And 1 more year until 25 years came about, But that was a wonderful thing too. I had positive and negative feelings about both of that. Like it was an end to an era, but it also was an accomplishment. And I loved homeschooling my kids. I loved having them with me. It wasn't easy all the time. Sometimes it was very, very difficult. Sometimes it was very lonely. Sometimes I questioned whether I should do it, but I'm so glad I did. I had such wonderful times with my kids. I also turned 50 this year. And there's something about that number that has shifted a lot of my thoughts about life. I'm half of 100. I'm half a century years old, right? That's crazy to think for me. And I actually like 50 so far. I used to hear older people than me talk about this before, but I kind of care less about what people think, but not like I don't care about what people think, but I just, not like in a negative way, in a positive way. I just realized, like so many others before me, that people have their opinions and you can't change their opinions. You can control how you respond to people. You can't really control how they respond to you. So I guess it takes 50 years or so to figure that out. Maybe you're younger and you have figured that out. But it's not just to be able to say that, it's to be able to feel that. So I not only can say that I feel I care less about what people think, I feel it less. And because I think I used to say it and believe that I believe that, but now I feel that. So, and it's a process. It's not like people don't hurt my feelings. It's not like I'm made of stone, but I care less about how I can't control the way other people think, I can only be the best person I can be. So those are some of the changes that have happened for me this year. And those are the things that I want to be mindful about, because that is what's going to help me grow for the next season of my life, for next year. I had my business also, which I forgot to mention this. My business has been growing as well. I've had a really interesting growth year. I started the Paid Homesteader Academy, and I just love this, I love helping people and coaching them in a way that allows them to have their goals come to life. I just love that. Like, it really energized when I'm helping people. So other changes that have happened this year as well, or recently, not this year, just recently. And this is what I'll get to, what changes I'll be making for the podcast and that sort of thing. I got a new job, which is my off-homestead job. And if you have listened to this podcast long enough, you know that I recommend having an on-homestead, off-homestead, and online income. You don't have to have them all at the same time, all three at the same time, but be mindful that those are ways you can be more sustainable and prepared for the future. So that's what we, as homesteaders, have that in common, that we understand that the future is not guaranteed in everything that we have. So that's why I don't say put all your energy into online income or put on all your energy into offline and off homestead income or on homestead income. Have that as a method of being prepared, being able to have these income streams in multiple places. So anyway, I did get a new off-homestead job where I work at a farm with 6 steeplechase racing horses. Well, a couple of them aren't. Some of them are retired. But it's one of the best jobs I've had, especially related to horse work, because all I have to do is groom them and feed them. And if you've ever sat and just groomed horses, not getting paid, it's a wonderful experience. They enjoy it usually. You enjoy it. And just being around horses is just, for me, it's very therapeutic. So I'm getting paid for this. I'm getting paid to feed and groom horses. And so I did that because, one, I needed to be able to get off the farm sometimes, and I wanted to keep my work within the things that I enjoy. So I found this job and I took it. So I do that a couple times a week. So it's taken some of my time away. And recently, my youngest daughter, who is my farmhand for our farm, got a full-time job. And this is very recent. She just got a full-time job. It may be just seasonal for now, but she is now not helping me anymore, pretty much. Just her hours, she can't really help with either morning or evening chores. She will probably help me on the weekends sometimes. But yeah, so I lost my farmhand, so I have more work to do, which is fine. And I'm actually enjoying getting it back into the routine of always taking care of my horses, because I used to do that before she was my farmhand. I have grandkids now. I have grandkids that I help my daughter with from time to time when she needs help babysitting or just taking one, baby for her so she can get other things done. These are just some of the things that have taken up my time, but I'm enjoying them thoroughly. I also, now that I lost my farmhand, I'm spending more time with my horses, which I've been needing to do. Anyway, I needed to have more time with them, my own horses. We have 4 horses here on the farm. And, the chickens are doing fine. They don't need my help much. And we have not added anything this year. We just, with all the changes that were happening in our lives, we just didn't add anything. I'm hoping in 2024, that is one of my goals, to at least add something, either quail or rabbits or something to the homestead in the way of animals. And of course, I'm expanding my garden, but it was very, this year it was very light and very small. So I didn't really have much to do in there this year. It just didn't work out as the way I had hoped, but some years we have that way. And then the other thing I've been doing recently is guiding the Paid Homesteader Academy students through the 12-week course that they're going through. And that has been just a great experience. And I just need to know that when I have this academy students, that is where a chunk of my time will go. And I'll be opening up the academy again in next year sometime. I'll keep you up to date. You can get on the wait list if you'd like. There will be a link in the show notes. So get on the wait list for the next year. It'll probably be September or October, but there's a chance I might change that. So just letting you know that that's happening, and if you're interested in that. It's been a really great experience for me and my students as well. So changes I'll be making. I'm getting to that part here. The changes I'll be making is that I'm going to take a break from podcasting for the month of December. So I will not be making new podcast episodes the whole month of December. I'm not going to do replays. I'm just going to leave it blank for a whole month. Hopefully that doesn't affect my ratings and all that. It probably will. But I have 82 episodes before this one, so there's lots of things that you can consume if you want to during this time of my break. But I really needed to stop creating content for a bit so that I can get back to being ahead of my content. So I'm not creating content on any other platform either, really, except for maybe Instagram. I'll be in stories probably, maybe a few posts, but maybe some channel discussions on my Instagram. But I will be in the Homestead Income Plan group, though. That is where I put most of my energy right now. So I will be in the Homestead Income Plan Facebook group, still participating in there, but very little Instagram and no podcast episodes. And I will also be emailing my email list. So if you're not on my email list, make sure that you get on my email list, and I'll tell you how you can do that in just a second. But while I'm taking a break from creating new podcast episodes, you can take the opportunity to listen or re-listen to some of my past episodes. Like, I'll go through a few that you can listen to. Like episode 15 is letting go of your timeline, where I talk about, just letting go of that like need to get something done in a certain amount of time and just kind of enjoying the process. That's episode 15. Episode 17 is make thankfulness a part of your journey. And this is just perfect timing since many of us will be celebrating Thanksgiving this week. If you're listening to this when it airs, this is the week of Thanksgiving. So I did this last year at Thanksgiving time. Our farm is named Thankful Hill Farm, and I just think thankfulness is just something you really need to be an active participant in. Like, you really need to just choose to be thankful. And so there's that episode. I also have episode 36, which is how to start homesteading in 2023, which it really doesn't have to be 2023. It could be 2024. It could be whenever. That was just the title I gave it. But that is one that goes along with the Homesteading for Beginners checklist. So if you have not received the checklist, there will be a link in the show notes. You can get this free checklist and you listen to that episode to go along with that. And then some of the interviews that I've done that I was most proud of myself this year. I mean, I had a lot of great interviews with friends, close personal friends, and that sort of thing, which there's a lot of episodes with that. But some of the ones that I was just excited about was my interview with Melissa K. Norris, and she talked about the 9 food preservation methods, which right now a lot of people are maybe needing to, I don't know, maybe harvest time is over for most people, but if you want to listen to that is episode 49 and 50 with Melissa K. Norris. And if you don't know who that is, she's someone who's been in the homesteading space for a long time. She has her podcast called Pioneering Today. Then there's also episodes 66 and 67, these are part 1, part 2's episodes. That's why they're split, because there were longer episodes. So it's the interview with Jill Winger on homesteading with horses, and this will help you understand why I have horses and how that actually got me started into homesteading. And Jill also has horses and is in homesteading with horses. So if you're not familiar with Jill Winger, she is also a podcaster as well, and she's a speaker and all that sort of thing. And she has Old Fashioned on Purpose podcast is hers. But we talk about homesteading with horses and what that looks like and what things that you should consider if you're planning on doing that. But if you're looking for some other podcasts to listen to besides the ones I just mentioned, you can also listen to Jason White's podcast. He's been on this podcast as well. Plans and Provisions is his podcast, as well as Greg and Marianne's podcast called Rockbridge Farm Podcast, which I've been on their podcast before, and they've been Marianne has been on this podcast, so you can find them as well. But those are just some other podcasts you can listen to while you're. I don't know if they're creating new podcast episodes for sure either, but they have lots of them. So past episodes. So if you're into the homesteading space, those are 2 other really good ones. I'll be doing the minimum amount I can to keep my business running during this break, and this is why I'm just pulling back on a lot of things, because I'm trying to find this clarity that I'm talking about and how I need to just pull back from creating content and just like be still and be mindful of what season I'm in, all the changes that have happened in my life, all the things that have happened recently, my different life as it is now with my different jobs and that sort of thing. So I'm taking this break, but in 2024, it's so that I'm setting 2024 up to be really good, and I really think it will be, whether I reach all my goals or not. It's going to be, because I'm going to choose that it will be. But if you want to get involved, other ways you can get involved with me during this break, like I said, you can listen to other podcasts. You can get the Homesteading for Beginners checklist, which these links will be in the show notes. You can get the 101 Homestead Income Ideas list. You can join the Homestead Income Plan Facebook group. That's free. Just be sure you answer the questions as you get a request to join, because it'll just make the process a lot faster. I also have, if you are interested in, homestead income, I have a website called homesteadincomeplan.com, and there is a shop page that you can go to, which is Homestead Income Plan. Well, the link is in the show notes. I think it's Homestead Income Plan /shop, but the link is in the show notes, so go check that out. And that is where you can see where I can help you more. So you can book a call with me, a brainstorming session that I do with my students, with the Paid Homesteader Academy students, and some other things that I have in there. So you can go to the shop page. But I also want to let you know about one other thing that will be coming in 2024. And you can get on the wait list for this if you're interested. I will be taking the Paid Homesteader Academy students, as well as anybody else who signs up for this, through 12 weeks of accountability, weekly accountability meetings. So if you've not heard of the book called the 12-Week Year, I highly recommend you go read that book. And this is where I got the idea for it. I've actually been a part of these types of meetings before, and they're very effective. So basically you take something or a few things. In this case, we will be taking income goals, things that'll help you reach your income goals, and you break them up into tasks, and you do those tasks over the 12 weeks. Now, this is mostly for your sake. Like, you will be checking out your progress. You will be, in charge of your own progress. But the weekly accountability meetings will be the meetings that you are accountable to someone else in a positive way. Nobody's going to say, hey, you didn't do this. Nobody's going to do that. It's mostly for your own sake, to know that you have to show this to someone, whether you're doing their tasks or not. And so you'll break down your goals into weekly tasks, and we'll have a meeting once a week for 12 weeks. And each meeting, it'll be, I'll have some sort of educational opportunity for you as well, to learn how to do things to help you increase your income through for your homestead income. So that is something I'm really excited about, because I know a lot of people, for a lot of people, including myself, it's not that you can't do the things that you plan to. You can do them. You just don't have a timeline that says, I need to get it done in this amount of time. And you don't break it down into tasks small enough to where you reach this big goal. So that's what this meeting is about, this 12-week work. It's a weekly accountability meeting. So we're calling it the Homestead Income Plan Weekly Accountability Meeting. And that is a hip wham. Okay? It's a hip wham. So I hope if you find this is intriguing or interesting, just sign up for the wait list. You're not obligated to do anything by signing up. But I can let you know about what's happening when it does come. And it will be, just so you know, there will be some buy-in. You'll have to invest in this just so that you take it more seriously. Because, we don't need free things. We need things that are going to help us move. And we do need free things. Free things are nice. But if you have some buy-in and you're committed, it'll help you to be more committed if you have some buy-in, is what I'm trying to say. And so I will let you know the details on how much it costs. It's also my time as well. So, but it'll be a low cost, and it'll be good. That is all I have to say today. I said a lot. I don't even know. This episode is probably one of the longest of my solo episodes I've ever done. But I think, as far as getting to know me a little bit more, now a few things more about me. Also, my thoughts on how you should be setting up your homestead, how you should be mindful about what you're doing, and not, and desiring to create the life that you want and need. And just, being intentional about what's happening in your life so that you can design that life the way you want it. So that is all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you in January.